nice to see you. Hello, Justin. Hello, Ray. Hello, Sophie. Hello, Susan. How are you all? Good to have you with us today. It is a huge pleasure to be hosting the first briefing of 2023 with an exceptional group of brilliant people who have bravely stood to join the executive group of Eura, and I'm delighted that you're here. Before we go into introducing you, I would really like to thank, and I'm sure Tad will say the same thing, everybody who stood for the executive group in the last elections. Thank you so much, all of you, for the enthusiasm of that. We've never had so many people stand for positions before. It was really great to see so much interest in the association from so many people. So thank you to everybody who stood forward. Tad?
Also, I don't think we've had quite so many votes cast ever.
No, it's very true.
So there was a lot of interest in this particular election, and that was absolutely brilliant. And it's fantastic that here we are with 4 new people, plus of course Isabelle Primon, who's going to join us if she can.
If she can, she's going to join us a bit later.
Who's an existing board member who's been re-elected. So Dom.
Yeah, so thanks, Ed. We've got 120 people signed up today. As you know, obviously people can't make it, so the session is being recorded. So if for any reason you have to drop off the call or whatever, don't worry. I will be editing that down over the weekend, and I'll send you the links to it on Monday so that it will be on our YouTube channel. So first of all, I would love you to introduce yourselves. I'm going to start, if I can, I'm going to start just in the order in which you are on my screen, because otherwise I'll forget. So Johanna, can I start with you? Could you introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are?
Yes, of course. So my name is Johanna Lennartson. I live in Stockholm and I work for a Swedish DSP and immigration provider called Lennartson.
Thank you. Great to have you with us. Thank you very much indeed. Markus, how are you?
I'm very fine. Thank you very much. So my name is Markus Demuth. I'm located in Munich, and I own the DSP Blue Relocation in Germany.
And Markus, thank you very much. You are interrupting your holiday to be with us today, so thank you. It's much appreciated.
My pleasure.
Marie, how are you? Great to see you.
Hi, Dom. Hi, everybody. My name is Marie O'Neill. I'm based in Dubai in the UAE. I'm a co-owner of EER, DSP Immigration and Corporate Service Provider, and we offer services across the Middle East.
Thanks, Marie. It's great to see you. Great to have you with us. And Marie is the first representative ever from the newly created Euro Global group to represent members across the whole of a very big region, which was a decision that was taken, I think, in Seville. Is that right, Ted? The AGM decided that it would. Oh no, it was an emergency.
No. We had to have an EGM to establish that we're allowed to do that.
So your first representative for the global group. Thank you very much, Marie, for being with us. And Jeremy, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. I see you're saving the best for last. My name is Jeremy Berthoux. I'm the managing director for Home Conseil Relocation, DSP and immigration provider in France, and I'll be representing the southern region.
Thank you very much to all of you. And so I don't know, like I say, if those of you who are partaking in the webinar, if you are not particularly sure about how the Euro Executive Group works, you can just go to the website and click on the About Us tab. It will give you on there the existing members of the Executive Group, and also about how the Executive Group works, what it's for, the mission, values, and vision of Euro. All of that is on the website. Again, if you have any questions or comments you'd like to make, just put them in the chat box. If you hover over the screen at the bottom, you'll see the little chat icon. Just open the chat box and put a note in. Thank you. Caroline Keurig says, congratulations to you all. So I'm going to ask you each in turn, if it's okay, a question. I'd love to know, what was your journey into our fantastic industry? Johanna, can I start with you?
Yes, of course. And well, that was really by accident, I would say. I had just finished my master in service management. I was moving to Stockholm, and Lena brought me on as a relocation consultant. And that's now almost 16 years ago, so I guess that was successful. But I think also, this is an industry that constantly changes, that keep you on your toes, and you never get bored, really. And I was also lucky enough to join my first Euro conference. I attended my first Euro conference only 2 years after I joined. And that also, you know, made me feel the support by other members for other regions and realize that, you know, what I'm doing, someone else is doing in another country, which was a really great insight.
I think that is one of the amazing things about organizations like Cura is that, you know, especially in our industry, which is very, very specific, you can feel quite isolated within it because, you know, it's not like there are 10,000 other teachers in your local area. Thank you very much. So where was your first Cura conference, actually?
2009 in Vienna.
It was Vienna. Thank you so much. Fascinating. Markus, what was your journey into relocation?
Well, I started my professional education in a moving company in Germany, and the owner asked me after a couple of years to found a relocation department. So I started, and well, I started in 1994 in global mobility overall.
Interesting. That's fascinating because, again, I mean, I remember years ago doing a session about, you know, the leap from moving to mobility. How was that?
Interesting. I thought that moving is already very close to the customer, but then I learned the services of relocation and immigration, and it's much closer than moving. Sorry to say that to all the moving companies, but it's much closer.
There's a very bit, I mean, it's a fascinating, that's a whole topic in itself, but the sort of transactional versus the personal is fascinating. Thanks, Markus. That's really interesting. Marie, what was your journey into Relo?
So similar to Johanna, I accidentally, or let's say fell into the industry and thankfully fell into it 13 years ago. So I've been an expat for many years. I lived in Germany, South Korea, Australia, ended up in Dubai. Worked in the in-flight entertainment industry for 3 years, decided to go traveling for 3 months, and then came back to Dubai, met a friend of a friend that owned a relocation company, and he asked me to come and manage the business for him. That was 13 years ago. So yeah, that was the start of my journey and have never looked back since.
Wow. Again, it's fascinating, isn't it? How the twists and turns that take that, but again, you know, interesting that you say that you had been an expat. That's you know, that's a big thing, being able to see that.
But I never got help, Dom, as an expat. I was a backpack expat. I didn't even know the industry existed.
Nor do many people.
Very true. Susan, thank you. Susan Ginsberg says hello all and congratulations to the new members of the executive group. Jeremy, can I ask you the same question? What's been your journey into Relo?
Well, it's been a journey of relocation into my life rather than the other way around. I've seen the business founded by my mother on the kitchen table back in 1991. I was 7 years old and playing video games while she was doing cold calls with many industry and HR leaders that didn't know the industry existed. So I've seen it from the very beginning. Then tried to run away from it, studying law and business, but then got pulled back in. I mean, fate for you. So I joined the company back in 2014. Attended Eura for the first time in 2015, which cemented my will to continue into the industry. And yeah, since then I've taken over the company in 2017 and never looked back.
Fantastic. It is.
Dom, I think it's very interesting to hear how people got into the industry, because I don't think I know anybody who's been around for less than 10 years who might have actually gone out of their way to join the relocation industry. They've always accidentally fallen into it, been brought into it one way or another. I mean, I didn't set out to be involved with the relocation industry. I kind of fell into it as well, and I kind of forced Dominic into it. So, you know.
Certainly not one of those things that comes up at the University Careers Counselling Service, is it? Really?
No, it is
not yet.
No,
but Michelle Ramstoff's vision as president was to raise the visibility of our industry to the point where that's kind of the thing. Well, I mean, listen, thank you all of you for that. That's fascinating. There's a lot of members of the executive group on this call, and you're joining a great group of people. So thanks to everyone who's here from the EG. So then my next question would be, what challenges and opportunities are you kind of seeing or dealing with right now? Johanna, how are things for you?
Well, the housing market is always a tough cookie in Sweden, always a struggle. There were also some law changes that definitely affect the immigration part of our business. So we went through a few changes last year, and we expect more to come. So that's a struggle, but that is also an opportunity because the clients need us more, right? And that's also a chance to do more consultation work and more training for HR and TA teams and such. And then we also do quite a lot of remote work at the moment as we find companies that establish in remote locations. So that is also a challenge that we've been working with, but also really exciting. It's a bit different to provide relocation services in the north of Sweden compared to Stockholm, of course.
Mm-hmm. That's really interesting. I mean, there's a lot of things there, and I'm sure it'll come up. But it's interesting that you talk about, changes to immigration. Is that politically led, policy-led changes? Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Same. I think that's happening a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Markus, what challenges and opportunities are you facing right now?
Well, it's maybe not a surprise. It's a housing market. It's maybe our biggest challenge. Berlin is getting more and more worse.
Really?
A lot of people are coming, especially since February last year. We received many Ukrainians in Germany, and it has a dramatic impact. Also a lot of Russians leaving Russia, coming mostly to Berlin. So that was really the biggest challenge. And of course, a point that many relocation freelance consultants left the market during COVID and looked for a different job. So we currently have about 100 freelance consultants in Germany, but it took a lot of effort to train them, to find them, to keep them happy. Yeah. And opportunities, I think technology. So we need to find a way to locate properties, maybe with technology.
Yeah. Wow. That's really interesting. And again, I mean, from the point of view, you raised the topic of the consultants leaving, and how was that recruitment process? I mean, do you have,
the recruitment process was that we did a lot of adverts, also at the universities. We tried to be very active in social media.
Yes, you are.
We contacted some expat communities. We are in touch with the chambers of commerce in Berlin, in Munich, in different cities. Yeah, many ways. And well, the latest development we did together with TM Relocation is that we founded a relocation academy for Germany to attract people to learn about the job and to get trained.
That's a fantastic idea. I mean, I know you've been very active in that sphere, and you're also active in the intern sphere as well, but that's really interesting. We'll come back to that. I'd love to run a full briefing on that. Marie, how about yourself? How challenges and opportunities for you?
God, I need to have a different challenge, don't I, than the housing market? But sadly, it's the same in this region, and particularly in Dubai, and more so the higher end market.
Really?
And I think it's because we see a lot of high net worth individuals moving to Dubai. So that's the most challenging, the high end property market here. Just I suppose moving on from what Markus said as well in regards to talent and staff, I would say actually that has improved here. So last year was quite challenging finding talent, retaining talent, but that seems to have improved. Opportunities, this region, they've launched a lot of, especially in Dubai, a lot of new visa options. They're very much attracting people to move here, to come here. The economy is booming. So there are definitely a lot of opportunities, and also regional. Saudi is really opening up. The change in Saudi has been phenomenal. We're currently opening up an office there. There's huge potential. So opportunities, I think, mainly for us, it's the growth in the Middle East and across this region.
That's fascinating. That again, I mean, because I know that Dubai, the growth in Dubai, we talked about it before, has been phenomenal over the last few years. But Saudi, in terms of change, is that like political change, economic change, wishing to bring in inward investment?
Yes, and a lot of cultural change as well, which is then, improving the economy, attracting foreign companies to come in. They've changed some rules here where businesses operating in the Middle East, if they want to get government work in Saudi Arabia, they have to move their head office there. So a lot of businesses that had their head offices in Dubai are now moving their head offices to Saudi. So, and their vision, their 2030 vision is amazing. They're building basically a city in northern Saudi that's the size of Brussels. So
wow, yeah,
it's,
I read about
yeah, it's huge.
Phenomenal growth, phenomenal growth. Thank you, fascinating stuff. Jeremy, how about yourself? Your challenges and opportunities in France right now, how are things?
Well, I could go on about the housing market and the repercussions of COVID, but I think that going forward, most of the challenges will be around two topics for our industry. The first one being digitization. Finding the solutions, as Markus evoked, will be important on our side, and also dealing with the solutions that, for example, the French government is putting together for immigration services, as they've launched and, let's say, kind of botched the launch of a platform for visas and immigration processes in France. We have to deal with that, which is a big challenge. Well, forcing us to digitize ourselves as well. So those are really big sets of challenges. On a more, I would say, short-term vision, the 2024 Paris Olympics will be a big challenge for the housing market and
wow,
the whole of Paris's region. So that's going to be a very important one. And I would say looking further ahead, I think the maturing of the industry, of our industry, is also a big challenge, as we see a lot of concentration, mergers, acquisitions, that as DSPs can prove either as opportunities or challenges, really. So I don't know on which side of the coin this will fall. So we'll have to wait.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. That's really interesting. Again, it's like, I mean, 2024 is going to be fascinating for you in Paris because, wow, property scarce now. So thank you. That actually brings me on to my final point, which is kind of to each of you. It's difficult to say that, like, a crystal ball moment, but I mean, if you could see either from your own perspective or from the wider industry perspective, you know, how things are going to be over the next, I don't know, 18, 24 months. What do you think, Johanna, I'll start with you. What do you think, what's changing and what's coming?
Well, we definitely expect some slower time ahead and maybe not as much business that we had, but it also gives you an opportunity to, you know, look into your systems. Do you need to upgrade your IT environment? Can you do some more training? We are going to complete EQS. But I mean, last time we planned for this, we had, you know, the best year ever. So we'll see how that goes. But also listen to our clients, because if they are not going to bring that many people in as usual, perhaps there are other needs where we can, you know, be creative and find new services. I think that we have so far added like 5 new services to our price list for this year, for example. Wow,
that is, yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to plan. It always has been in our industry, right? Because it's such a barometer of what's going on in the wider economies. Markus, how about yourself?
Well, we expect still an increase of business in Germany. We expect a lot of more people to come. We already doubled our numbers in comparison to 2021. So last year was crazy, and therefore, yeah, I was always wrong with my glass bowl. So it's hard to say, but everybody expects a little bit more business in Germany. And of course, technology will influence our business extremely, maybe not within the next 12 months, but I'm sure within the next 3 years or so, dramatically.
Fascinating. Yeah, absolutely fascinating. But it's interesting how, again, different economies are reacting different ways. In Sweden, you're expecting things to contract a bit. In Germany, you're expecting expansion. Marie, how about your crystal ball?
Oh, that crystal ball. I think with everything that's happened in the last 3 years, it's impossible to even take a stab at that one, but I'll try. Look, we're definitely keeping a very positive outlook. We're looking to grow again this year, and you know, the economy is good here, and we think it will continue to stay in that position. We did our management buyout the year before last, and we actually budgeted in 2022 to just keep the same as 21, no growth, and we tripled our revenue. So
Wow.
we were delighted with that. We don't expect that again in 2023, but we do expect some growth. But for the industry and the future, I think, some key things, and just to touch on what Markus touched on, technology and getting that, science of the hybrid model correct with the right balance of technology and face-to-face. I think that's key and essential to the future of the industry. And I also think partnerships and collaboration, and that's on all different levels, from a supplier level, client level, industry, memberships, everything. I think, for us all to move forward at a positive future, we definitely need to work more on collaboration and partnerships.
Yeah, I can see everybody's nodding, and I completely agree. I think it's absolutely key. And again, in my journey through Europe, seeing how that's developed and grown has been phenomenal. I mean, a huge change to 20 years ago. Jeremy, how about you? How are things looking?
The crystal ball is retired since 2019. My predictions for 2020 were completely off. I don't do predictions anymore, but I do foresee, as for Johanna, kind of a contraction in terms of business, as I believe 2022 was marked by, well, everything that was left in the pipes of COVID times being funneled out. So we'll see how it goes, but obviously the Olympics will tend to have a draw toward France, so it should help. And as Mary said, I think collaboration, partnership will be very important in an industry that's maturing and seeing more and more big players in order for smaller ones to be able to be themselves.
Yeah, very wise words from all of you. Thank you very much indeed. Some really nice messages. Congratulations from Lena. Martina Pedrosini says you all rock. Congratulations. Sylvia Ehrlich, congratulations to you all. Thank you for sharing exciting executive group. And Gordon, congratulations. Gordon Kerr. And thanks for these great insights in our ever-changing industry. Never a truer word. I want to really thank you all, not just for your time today, but along with the rest of the executive group. You give your expertise, you give your time, and it's a lot of time, and you're all very busy people. So it's extremely kind and extremely generous of you all, and to all of the existing executive group for doing what you do for our amazing industry. So really, thank you so much. Sophie says, look forward to working with you. Sophie Rayberg, Ray De Silva, nice to hear the optimistic predictions. Alistair Murray, great insights. Really looking forward to working with you all. See you soon. And we will be back together in Dublin. I cannot wait to see you in person. It will be maybe not quite so sunny as Seville, but it will still be a very, very warm Irish welcome of that, I am certain. So all that remains for me to say is have a great weekend. Thank you so much for joining us today. Everybody who's joined us, thank you, Laurie, thank you, Lucy. Have a great weekend, and we will be all together again in Dublin.
We will indeed.
Fantastic. Take care, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.
See you soon.
Bye. See you in Dublin.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.